Oh, hey there. So I'm going to do things a little bit different this time because this whole video is actually going to be completely unscripted. I know that's a little bit different for me. It's not something I normally do, but I was just feeling it. I figured, why not? Let's see what happens. The reason I wanted to make this video is to get my thoughts out about all of the Switch 2 information that we've just been bombarded with recently. Like I just said, I normally don't do these like super topical types of videos, but I had a lot of thoughts and I wanted to put them somewhere, and I figured the best way to convey my thoughts was to do it in a video as opposed to writing it out, because usually when you write out a post on, I don't know, Blue Sky or something, you're still limited to text format. People can't read your emotions. They can't tell what it is you're exactly trying to say. It might come off as more negative or more positive than you want it to be, so I figured why not just do it live and see what happens. Even though this isn't live, but unscripted, I guess is what I mean to say. So I left that direct with very mixed feelings overall, and I'm gonna do my best to try to like structure this. It's very hard for me to structure the topics I want to talk about without a script, which is why I normally script them, but I'm gonna do my best. So if I jump around from place to place, you know, apologies. Again, it's unscripted, that's why. But yeah, like I said, I left that direct just with mixed feelings. I was pretty tired overall. I do work nights, so that direct was actually 30 minutes after I would normally be going to bed. So I stayed up and I watched it, and I was excited going into it, but you know, I was still pretty tired, so it wasn't like I was like super high energy the whole time. But the direct itself, it really let me down. Okay, really let me down is probably way too strong a word. The information afterwards really let me down. We'll get to that in a minute. But like the direct itself, it just didn't scratch that itch for me. I love a new video game console. I love new video game console announcements, and I love when, you know, we get to all just kind of sit around and just discover this new piece of hardware together. It's such an amazing feeling, and yet I wasn't getting that same feeling with the Switch 2. I think there's two reasons for that. The first is the fact that a lot of the air was kind of let out of the balloon with the announcement, because there were just so many leaks over the course of the last couple of years, really. Like, I mean, there's just leak after leak after leak after leak, and it really sucks. I hate leaks like that. They kill the hype for everybody that's excited to see something, you know? Like, leaking that kind of stuff early, it's like, oh man, cool, you got like 5 clicks in the minute, and now everybody else just has this information early, and there's no excitement around it when they actually do announcement. It's stupid, and that's a whole other topic, but whatever. The leaks really killed a lot of the hype, because once Nintendo did unveil it, back in January, it was exactly what everybody who had leaked it said it was going to be. And unfortunately, you know, if you exist on the internet and you are in any way involved with video games or anything, you couldn't like avoid these leaks. They were everywhere. You know, you open up Google to do a search, and there's always those like articles that are on the bottom that are suggested for you, and it's like, you know, the articles would have like the pictures in the thumbnail of the leaks. You know, like there was no avoiding it. There's just too much information. Nintendo arguably waited way too long to announce it, and that killed a lot of the hype. And then when they did announce it, it was just like here it is, and we'll talk more about it in 3 months. Like, it felt like the most damage control announcement that they could have done. You know, like they were like, okay, too much information is going out there, so let's just, let's try to get ahead of it, even though there was no getting ahead of it at that point, and show off the console. And they did, and everybody was like, yep, that's another Switch. You did it. Cool. And, they planned this big direct for April here, and it just didn't, it's still just a Switch 2. And let me try to break down the direct a little bit from memory, which is going to be utterly terrible, but we'll see what happens. So before we go on, I want to say, if you've watched my videos in the past, you know that I pretty much only really talk about things that I enjoy. I try to keep my videos talking about things that make me happy, and I want to share that with other people, and I want to say, like, why I love this thing. And it's not that I'm not critical about things or that I don't critique things. I do very much critique things, and I'll be critical about things here or there. But like, I don't see the need to just like be relentlessly, a relentless complainer about things. And that's not what I want this video to come off as. So, if I start like in my rambling, start going that direction, I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't happen, because it's a lot different when you're just talking unfiltered to a camera. It's not me writing down these thoughts and thinking about them. It's just, these are words coming out of my mouth, and yeah, these are things that I'm feeling, but I don't want you guys thinking that like, oh, AJ, he's out here, bitching and moaning about what I'm trying to not have it come off that way. So just for clarity's sake, hopefully you guys get what I'm talking about here. Yeah, anyway, moving on. They start this direct off right out the door. They give us Mario Kart, and that's pretty much what everybody I think was expecting to show, because it was right at the end of that very first announcement trailer, and we knew it was coming, and it did. There it was, the new Mario Kart, and it looks amazing. I'm genuinely excited to play it. Mario Kart is not exactly a game that like I am always chomping at the bit to play though. Like, I love playing online with some friends, or just going on, just doing random online races. And I do like go for like a kind of a semi-completionist standpoint of like, I want to get like the 3 gold star cups on every track, on every CC. But like, it's the game that I kind of play on the side. It's not like something that like I'm actively like looking up screenshots for, or videos for. Not that I do that anymore anyway, but like, it's not a game that like I'm ever really like, yes, I cannot wait to get the next Mario Kart, because it's always going to be more of the same. It's Mario Kart. It's exactly what you expect it to be, and it's going to be fun, but it is what it is. But I'm excited because it looks great. I love it's like 24 playable or racers at one time. That's kind of insane, but I'm down for it. And I can play as a cow, so cool. I'm all for Mario Kart. The problem is they announced this like with this high energy. They started us off so strong, and then it just kind of plummeted. It flatlined almost. Like the rest of the direct was just kind of like there wasn't much there, and I'll get into what I mean about that. So let me elaborate. So I'm doing this whole direct from memory. I'm gonna miss things. I'm gonna skip over things. It's just kind of it is what it is when you don't have a script, and I'm not like constantly like looking through the video and going, oh yeah, that, and reminding myself of it. This is all from the memory of a dude who stayed up all night and then watched this direct and then went to sleep immediately afterwards. So again, forgive me if I missed things, but they announced the C button, or they showed off what the C button actually does. And I feel like people either loved it or they hated it. Okay, not even loved. They're like, oh, that's cool, or they just hated it. They're like, oh, we have Discord, we have phones, we have whatever. I fall more into the camp of, I think that's pretty neat. Like I know a lot of people kind of ragged on like the way the frame rate was shown on the, like, if you're playing your game and you have like your 3 buddies in the bottom or whatever, they're all playing separate games, that the frame rate that they were showing was pretty rough. Each one was like 15 frames a second of different games. I know people were like kind of like ragging on that, but like I think that's fine. I don't care. That's just kind of like a little checkup. That's just kind of like a cool little thing to see what your friends are doing. I'm not like, unless it's my game, I don't care if like, these little side games on the bottom of a window that I don't even need to have there, mind you, that I'm choosing to put there because I'm talking to, my friend in like Florida on the other side of the country, like if I don't care, like if I'm not like, oh man, you're 15 frames down there, and who cares? It doesn't matter. I think the feature is pretty neat. I hope that the audio quality of the mic is okay, because I'm giving it like I'm hopeful that this feature isn't just nothing. I'm hopeful that it's a feature that like people actually use, because I might use it. I don't know, like it could be a handy little thing. Fun fact, the Wii U had voice chat built into it, and I used to play Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate with a bunch of random people, and we would all use voice chat, and like I like ended up becoming friends with like random people that I met through the Wii U voice chat, and it was a pretty okay voice thing. Like the mic was in the tablet controller, and I don't remember anybody sounding too bad. So I imagine it's either going to be around that same quality or hopefully better because it's been, over a decade now. But still, like, it's a feature. It's cool. I don't know what really people were expecting the C button to do. I kind of assumed it was going to be like communication. That was my go-to thought at the time, but it basically is. It's a communication button. Cool. It is what it is. They also had this whole thing with the demo that it's a paid demo that breaks down things in the console, and that's every I'm not breaking new ground here. That should have been free. Just put that in, have it preloaded on the system, or have a little cartridge. Why are you charging for that? If I can get hours, multiple days even of entertainment from Astro's Playroom on the PS5, come on, Nintendo. This was it. That just, I don't know. It's an extremely Nintendo thing to do. I know that people talk about Wii Sports and why didn't they do it that way. Supposedly Reggie really fought hard to get that to be a pack-in in the US. So I don't even think it's a pack-in everywhere in the world. I think it might have just been a US thing. But regardless, Reggie had to fight hard for that. So it's just, that's Nintendo being Nintendo, I guess. So, it is what it is. I don't think I'm going to buy it because, yeah, it looked neat and I would play it if it was free, but I don't want to spend money on this, What's the point? I don't need to know how the console works. I can figure it out myself. Moving on from there, we had a lot of third-party, AA, AAA games that were shown, and it's just a lot of games that, already exist elsewhere. And I understand that, some people only have Nintendo stuff, and that's cool that they're getting a chance to play these games. I've already put so many hours into Elden Ring. I don't really need to play it again. But there was a lot of games that were just announced that they already exist elsewhere, and I didn't care personally, But again, if it opens up a market for people who can experience those games the first time, amazing. If you're a Nintendo fan, you've only played Nintendo stuff, play Elden Ring. This is your chance. It's an amazing experience. It's a fantastic game. But there was so much just rehash, right? And again, I'm coming into this announcement just expecting to see new, and that's not what I was getting. And that could be my own fault. Maybe I set my own expectations too high, but that's just, there was barely any new for most of this announcement. It was just a lot of games that already exist, or Switch games that are going to be resold to us to run slightly better. And when they showed off the Switch enhanced games, right? The Switch, it's enhanced on the Switch too. And again, I don't care because again, this is, and I don't mean that to sound like I don't care, but I've already played these games, right? And a lot of people, most people nowadays have a huge backlog of games, massive backlog of games, right? The majority of people have so many games to play. The last thing I want to do is replay Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. If I was going to replay Breath of the Wild, I would play Tears of the Kingdom because that's already basically replaying Breath of the Wild. But I wouldn't replay either of them because the majesty of those games is already gone. It's not like sitting down and playing an older Zelda again, there's something the enjoyment of those games was in the exploration, and that is just kind of gone once you've already experienced them. There's most open world games kind of fall into that because it's not like it's an Elder Scrolls game where you could replay as a different class and do different side things or whatever, and go into this skill tree. There's nothing like that for an open world Zelda game. I guess I could build different machines in Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know, but I've already put so many hours into those games. I'm not going to replay them again, and I don't know anybody who is going to replay them again. I don't know anybody who played those games and is yep, I'm going to upgrade and play them all over again. I don't know. I mean, if you guys are that way, by all means, more power to you, and let me know because I'm genuinely curious. But also, who owned a Switch
that didn't already own Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. These are two of the highest, like, some of the highest selling games on the Switch. The Breath of the Wild was a Switch, like, selling game. That's why people bought it. Again, I digress, but, and you know, I recognize that there are people who are new to the Switch too, who have never owned a Switch. So for them, that's amazing. Cool. I'm glad that they're going to get to experience these games in a better form than when I experienced them. You know, like if you are just now deciding I'm going to pull the trigger on getting a Nintendo console, I guess now's a terrible time to do it because of the pricing, but again, we'll get to that later on. Regardless, if you're one of those people who are just stumbling into a Switch 2 for the first time, then yeah, this is the enhanced Switch games is awesome. But I don't know, I just don't feel like that's a thing for a lot of people. I could be wrong, you know, but it wasn't just that. There was like, you know, it was enhanced Kirby, which again, you know, I don't really have any desire to replay again. But like, this was such a strong focus in the Direct. Like, you know, I mean, look how much time I just rambled on about it, because that's how much time they rambled on about it. You know, I want to see what new things we can do with this new console. That's the whole reason you get excited and you want a new console, right? For new stuff. Like, it's like not just the same thing. And it just, again, it just keeps feeling more and more like the new 3DS, you know, like, yeah, the new 3DS could only play new 3DS games and 3DS games, but like there was games that were like only released for the new 3DS, like all, like 7 of them. But like, that's what this is really starting to feel like. And I know that like, I know that the Switch and the Switch 2 are completely different hardware. Nintendo's come out and they said it themselves. That's why a lot of people are kind of like dunking and memeing on the fact that they have this, you know, big list of here's these compatible games and this big list of here's these not compatible games. But like, the reason for that is because it's not, this isn't like the hardware of the previous consoles existed in the newer consoles, right? Like a GameCube hardware existed in a Wii, you know, and the Wii's hardware existed in the Wii U. So like, that's how they were able to do the backwards compatibility. That doesn't the Switch hardware is not in the Switch 2. So the backwards compatibility, they said, is like kind of like this weird mixture of like software and hardware emulation. That's why there's a list of games that are, you know, can run and cannot run on it. And I appreciate the fact that they're trying to do backwards compatible with it. I worry that the information is not going to spread far enough, and that a lot of people might trade in their Switch thinking, well, I don't need this anymore. And then they lose access to games because they didn't read through a huge list of games that were compatible or not compatible that was only like available on Nintendo's website. And if you like are actively searching for this stuff, you know, like, again, like people who want the information, who are really active for it, they'll find it. But like your everyday, like Joe Schmo, normal person, just like, yo, excited to get this new console, they're going to see like the GameStop deal, trade in your stuff, and they're going to do it, and they're not going to know that some of their games aren't going to work on Switch 2. And I think that really sucks. Yeah, like it is what it is, I guess. Like, they're trying, you know, it could be worse, you know, it could be like how the PS3 could not play, well, okay, that's actually PS3 is a whole weird thing. That's a bad example. I was going to say PS3 couldn't play PS2 and PS1 games. It can play PS1 games. Some of them could do software emulation on PS2 games. Some of them could do hardware emulation on PS2 games. And they had a later model that could only play PS1 games and PS3 games without playing PS2 games. It's a whole thing. Better example being the PS4 could not play PS3 games because, again, completely different hardware, completely different architecture. That's a much better example than what I was initially going for. You know, like, Sony did nothing about that, really. Like, we couldn't play our PS3 games on a PS4. You had to have the PS3 hooked up. You still have to have your PS3 hooked up if you want to play most PS3 games. There's some available on PS5. I'm getting way off track here. Moving back to Nintendo. So the thing I noticed with this Direct is there was a lot of focus on these, like, AA and AAA third-party game announcements, right? And it's, like, the complete opposite of what we had with the Switch, like the first Switch, where they had this like huge influx of indie games. They were really supporting indies. It doesn't really feel like they were supporting indies with this at all, which is a huge shame. You know, I don't know. I think that's a big miss for Nintendo. I think that's a huge mistake to not support indies on this. I mean, look at the way that, here we go. Prime example. Silk Song was announced or shown, right? For like 3 seconds. That's a game that like everybody has been clamoring for years, just trying to get like a tiny little just niblet of anything, just a little bite, you know, of Silk Song. People begging for it, and it was there was 2025, and they gave it no attention whatsoever. Like that's just crazy. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. Like, how are you gonna have Silk Song and not be like, here you go, Silk Song. Like, we're the Silk Song machine. Like that. I feel like, yeah, like Silk Song's gonna be a multi-plat thing, but like it was in their direct. They could have like really driven that home, you know, and been like, yeah, we've got Silk Song on Switch 2. That could, but they just didn't. And that's, again, just wild that they did that. The new FromSoft game, I don't really know how I feel about it. Like, I was super excited at first. I think I went through the same emotions like every like FromSoft fan goes through of like, oh my god, Bloodborne, you know, like that first like initial, but then you see something weird and you're like, oh wait, that's like a dragon, that doesn't make any sense, you know, like, or that's a robot. Like suddenly you start dialing it back and you're like, okay, but maybe something, you know, like what is this? And you get really excited, and then it's a PvPvE game, and I don't know, like there's something about it, like it could be amazing, you know. Like I played the Night Rain demo, blown away, loved it, had a blast. So like maybe I'll feel the same way with Duskbloods. We'll see. You know, trying to stay optimistic about it, but like I would have preferred just a single player experience. If the Switch 2 had gotten like its own like Bloodborne-esque game, like I don't even mean like in style, I just mean like their own like you know, console exclusive FromSoft game that like followed suit with like Dark Souls or Bloodborne or whatever, I think that would have been phenomenal for the Switch 2. Like that would have been, again, like that would have been a reason people buy the system, because people bought PS4s for Bloodborne because it still isn't on anything else. So like they could have had that, but by making this like, you know, PvPvE game, like I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's FromSoft. Try to put my faith in them. We'll see. Another example of me being like super excited for like 5 seconds before I just had all of the helium sucked out of me was the new Zelda game, the new Hyrule Warriors game. When I saw the beginning part of the trailer, I was like, oh my god, a Zelda game. This is it. Like this is a new Zelda game. Like we're gonna play as Zelda. We're gonna play as Zelda. It's a Tears of the Kingdom prequel. I was super excited for literally 5 seconds, and then they hit us with the fact that it was a Hyrule Warriors, and I do not care. I don't care about Hyrule Warriors games. I don't care about Dynasty Warriors games. I liked Dynasty Warriors back in like high school when I was playing them on the PS2 with some friends, but like it's not like a series or style of game that I really care about. And to me, you know, and if you're a huge Dynasty Warriors fan or Hyrule Warriors fan or fan of any of these games, whether it's like the Dragon Quest or whatever skin they've decided to put on top, you know, that's amazing. Have at it. I'm not trying to like, you know, kill your excitement for a game. I just don't care. You know, I don't like, and I don't like how they like, and this is kind of silly, but I don't like how they like try to like put like real canon story in, like they kind of filter them into like, oh yeah, if you care anyway about the story, then you have to play these completely ridiculous, unrelated games. I don't know. I just don't care. So that was yet another moment of me being super excited and then being let down. And I feel like that's the theme. That's the theme of this whole direct, is me being excited and then me being let down. That's the theme. I will say the ending of the direct with Donkey Kong. How do I even explain this, right? I wanted to see Mario. It's been 8 years since Galaxy. That's crazy. But it looks amazing. You know, like it looks fantastic. Like the new Donkey Kong game I am very excited for it. I really am. Genuinely, I think the aesthetic looks awesome. The gameplay looks incredible. The music, it's a trailer music, so who knows? But if it's anything like the previous, the last 2 Donkey Kong games, like the Donkey Kong Country Returns, Tropical Freeze music, amazing. But if it's anything like that, cool, awesome. But I still wanted to see Mario, and I don't want like that to like take away from Donkey Kong at all, but like, come on, guys, it's like this is an extremely like GameCube-esque launch, that's kind of feel almost Wii U-esque. Like, at least the Wii U had New Super Mario Bros. U, which I guess just a reskin of another Super Mario Bros. Game, which, yes, I know it's a new game, but you know what I mean. Like, it's still the same old. It's like a cookie cutter formula we're getting. But the GameCube didn't launch with like, Sunshine. It launched with like Luigi's Mansion. I'm gonna have to check this in editing if it launched with Sunshine out. From memory, I don't think it did, but I guess we'll find out if I keep this part in or not. But regardless, it didn't have like that, like it had Luigi's Mansion, like this has Donkey Kong, which like that's putting a lot of faith in Donkey Kong, and that's awesome. But like it's really weird to have Zelda and Mario. These are your two, like these are the pillars that hold up Nintendo, right? Like Zelda and Mario. And neither one of them is getting a new game on like as a launch. Like neither one's a launch title. That's crazy to me. I don't know. Like that's just crazy. Like I don't know. It's just maybe I'm wrong here, but like I think I would have a trailer for Mario, something, a teaser. Because there's no way that as long as it's been since Sunshine, there's no way that they haven't like started working on the next 3D Mario. Now it could have gone through like the whole Metroid 4 thing, or Metroid Prime 4, where they started it and then scrapped it and then started it and scrapped it. Who knows? Who knows? What development for games is crazy. It's wild. But like, so maybe they really don't have anything to show. But like, new Switch, no Mario. I don't know. But Donkey Kong does look amazing, and I will for sure get it. I will for sure play it. I'm sure I'll for sure love it. But that's what again. It's like that whole like. Super excited and then kind of let down, but I'm mixed on the end because it was such a cool thing. And I know they announced like the Kirby Air Riders, and again, it's not really a game for me. I don't really care. I didn't really play like Kirby Air Riders on the GameCube. I'm a big fan of Sakurai, but like, and I think it's cool that I think it's cool that he's not like tethered to Smash. Like he's free. He can make games that he wants to make, and I think that's awesome. I'm sure it's great too. I'm sure it's going to be fun. I'll probably still pick it up at some point, but like, I guess my mind is also like, we already kind of have a racing game, so like with Mario Kart, and I know there are different styles of racers, but you know what I mean, right? Like, there's only like so much time. Like, it's not going to be like, I played this racing game and now I want to play this racing game. I don't know. Like, it's just a weird, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm dumb. Who knows? So that's the direct from memory, and I know I missed a lot. I know I glossed over a lot of things, but like I've said what I want to say about that kind of stuff. I want to get more into like my feelings about other things, which is really why I wanted to even make this video. I probably should just cut all that, but whatever. You're getting it now. We gotta talk about the price, right? Like $449. It's kind of steep. It's a lot for a Nintendo console. And then the games, $80, excuse me, for Mario Kart, $80, guys. Like, what worries me so much about that is that it really opened the floodgate. That's like giving every other, greedy CEO in the industry. That's just giving them permission. It's okay. Nintendo did it, guys. We can jack up our prices too. And, it sucks. It sucks. There's no way about it. It sucks. Like, listen, I know people gotta get paid. I work in the game industry. I understand people need to get paid. But I don't know. It's very, we'll say it's a very gray area, right? There's a lot of, there's just, people don't have disposable income. That's what it comes down to. Nowadays, people still have disposable income. I don't really think I need to go into why, but I think if you're existing in today's world right now and you're watching the video in 2025, you understand exactly what I mean, because just you're here, you're living it, right? And this $449 announcement, by the way, is, and me recording this right now, I recorded this after
it was today actually that I'm doing this, that they said, actually guys, pre-orders are not happening in the US. We're going to push that date back because the pre-orders were going to be on April 9th. Now they're like, uh-oh, I got these fun little tariffs we got to figure out. So who knows what the price is? I don't even know. By the time this video goes out, it could be $600. It could be $700. Mario Kart could be $100. I do not know because Nintendo doesn't know because they've not told us anything. And again, that sucks. You know, that it all sucks. You know, the money side of things, it just sucks. Now, it could be worse. It could be the PS3, you know, with its $600 launch. But again, yes, it was expensive, but people had more disposable income back then. Rent wasn't as high. Your bills weren't as high. Food didn't cost as much. So, you know, there's a lot more to it. You know, there's a lot of economics that are just pushing us all down right now. So yeah, not a big fan of the price. I'll probably still get one because it's a Nintendo thing and I want to have a Nintendo console and I want to have it. But it's going to be, it's rough, right? And if you're in a multi-family household, or not a multi-family, but like a multi-person household, right? Maybe you and your partner or you and your kids each want to get one. That's a lot, you know, like that's a lot of money to shell out if you're buying more than one of these. Like, I mean, yeah, you can share, but there's some stuff that you each one are going to want to have one on, you know, like you're trying to play Mario Kart with your whole family and good luck, you know, have fun dropping $2,000 to play Mario Kart. Like, that's crazy, right? Especially when you consider the fact that like the Switch launched at $299 and then Breath of the Wild was like $60. So like you paid $360 and you got Breath of the Wild, right? But now it's like we're paying $500 or over $500 if you, because there's a bundle pack, which if you get the bundle, it comes with Mario Kart and it's cheaper than buying Mario Kart alone. But regardless, it's either $500 or over $500. You're spending $500,000 for Mario Kart, right? You know, right now that's again kind of crazy. And I think the last thing that I kind of really want to touch on was and I don't really see anybody talking about this part. The GUI, the graphical user interface, the home screen. It's just the Switch. Like, what? Like, it's just the Switch. And I don't know, like maybe by the time I get this video out, or maybe people are, and I'm just missing it. But like, I've seen nobody talk about this. How is that not the most disappointing thing? You know, like there's something like when you get a new console, like there's that thrill of you pull it out, you hold it, you see it, the weight, you feel it, you know, whether it's got the sheen on it or it's kind of a rough plastic, depending on what, you know, more matte finish. There's so much to it, right? And then you plug it in, you hook it up, and you see that splash screen, whatever it's going to be, you know, whether it's, you know, just like the cross media bar of the PS3 or just whatever, it doesn't matter. You know, like you guys know what I'm talking about. Like each console has always had a unique home screen. All of them. Every console, once they started doing home screens anyway, they've all had a unique home screen. And the Switch has sucked. I never was a fan of it. It's boring. It's just the most minimalist. Here's all your stuff in a line. It sucks, man. Like that's super boring. It's not like, I vastly preferred like the 3DSs. I vastly preferred the Wii U's. You know, I mean, Wii U's is similar to the 3DS, but it still had some like character and it had like the, you know, extra screen that helped. But like, they're just, it's the exact same thing. So like they touted they're like, we built this console from the ground up. Did you? I mean, I believe you, but then why did you use the same home screen? I don't know. Like that was like the last like little like, you know, like the air just leaving the balloon. Like there's just, that was it. You know, like not only did I, cause like one, I had that spoiled for me. I wasn't like going out of my way to see that, but like it just got posted. So I saw it. So there it is. I don't know if I would have been more disappointed or less disappointed if I hadn't seen it. And then like I turned it on and I was like, oh,
I'm looking at the Switch screen, you know, like, I don't know, guys, like, maybe that's petty, maybe that's like whatever, but like it's boring. And what this comes down to for me is that I'm just, why I'm so mixed on this and why I wanted to make this video is that I've never had these feelings before with Nintendo, ever, or really any console that I've been excited for, like ever. This is a first for me. Like I've never, like I've been playing since the Atari. Like my first consoles were an Atari and an NES. You know, like, so I've been around. I've been playing consoles for way too long now, and I love them all. And every time a new one got announced, I got excited. And there's just, I don't know, maybe there's just there was just such like a perfect storm to just throw a wet towel on me, you know, for the Switch 2. Like, yes, I'm still going to get the Switch 2. Yes, I'm sure there'll be amazing games on. I'm sure the next Mario will be amazing. I'm sure the next Zelda will be amazing. You know, like, I'm hoping the next real Pokemon will be amazing. We'll see. We'll see. Hoping. I'm sure the games that are going to come out on the Switch 2 are going to be good. But, like, the whole energy behind the launch, the whole energy behind getting one and getting excited for one, there's just been so much, you know. Here's this, but this. Here's this, but this. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, they tell you something and take something away. Tell you something, take something away. And it got even worse, like the final nail in the coffin, which isn't necessarily Nintendo's. I mean, it's not Nintendo's fault. It's not Nintendo's fault at all, really. But the whole tariffs thing, you know, like that announcement, yeah, it kind of sucked. You know, that was the last little bit of like, we were already like, 450 is pretty expensive. But now it's going to be more, you know? So it was like, again, like that, they just, right. I was still planning with some, like, there's going to be a Best Buy midnight release, or if you're on the West Coast, a 9 p.m. release, which, I mean, it's still cool, I guess. But like, I was actually planning with some friends, like, let's do it, you know? Like, I did the midnight release with the Switch. I went to Best Buy with my friend. We both picked up the Switches. We both got Breath of the Wild. We went back to my house. I hooked up 2 TVs. We played. It was awesome, you know, fantastic time. And you know, even with all of the kind of like lackluster things with the Switch 2, I was still very excited to have that with some friends. Like, we were going to do this, you know, yeah, let's do the midnight release. Now, who knows when the pre-order start? I don't know. You know, like, when's it going to happen? Who knows? The launch date hasn't changed. June 5th, still there. Still launching across the world. Is it going to launch in America June 5th? Who knows? It's all so up in the air that, like, there's just, I don't know. It's hard to be excited for it. I don't know. That's, I just, again, I wanted an outlet to put this out. Again, I know these aren't the types of videos that I make, but I wanted an outlet. You know, I wanted to talk about this in a way that was like maybe semi-constructive, maybe a little funny. I don't know. Probably not funny. More depressing than anything. But like, I wanted to talk about it with the energy that, you know, I'm expressing now, so you can understand where I'm coming from. But like, again, hopefully it doesn't come off. Hopefully it didn't come off too negative. I guess we'll see if I even post it, because who knows? Might watch this back on editing and be like, wow, I talk a lot. This whole thing sucks, and cut it off. Who knows? I guess while I'm here, and I got you all roped in, I'll talk about the channel. Why not? Let's throw it in there. Surprise bonus round. You guys you're getting it now, whether you were somebody who was watching or you just discovered me. I'm talking about my channel. It's happening. So yeah, it's been a while since I posted a video. That was back in November is when we did the Symphony Night video. That I've talked about this a little bit on like various platforms, various social medias and stuff, and my like Patreon. But like, that video took a lot out of me. It took a lot to make, and I had a lot of like goals and plans going into the new year, but I didn't want to like make them. I didn't want to verbalize them, because like last time I did that, at the beginning of last year, when I made my big update video, I was like, I'm gonna do all this stuff, guys, and then the year sucked. Like, I had a lot, you know, just a lot of things happened, just like random personal stuff. Doesn't really matter. Point is, I wasn't able to do the things I wanted to do. So I didn't want to make that same mistake again. I didn't want to be like, guess what, guys? I'm gonna do this. So I was like, we'll see what happens. And I've been writing scripts for various things, and then I've been not liking them. Whether it's just,
the presentation of it, or just that like I would write it and then I'd go back and I'm like, I don't care, because I realized some of the things I was talking about, I was getting too much into that, like, I don't know, kind of negative territory, and it didn't seem worth it, you know? Like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy that just, I know I made this whole video about complaining about that Nintendo announcement, but I don't want to be that guy that just keeps posting stuff that, like, is like, man, you know what I don't like? Like, man, you know what sucks? Like, I don't want to be that type of creator. That's not me sharing something with you guys. That's not me sharing. I mean, it is, but it's not me sharing something I love with people and finding like like-minded things, you know? Like, there's already so much, there's already people complaining about everything. I mean, prime example, right? I can be like, hey guys, here's why I love this game. And then like, I'll get a bunch of comments like, oh man, I like this game too. But then there's always this one comment that'll be like, I love when you personally, people who do this, are like, this game sucks ass. But then why did you like seek out a video that was 30 minutes long? Potentially maybe watched it, who knows, but you already like didn't like it. Why did you waste your time to either like watch me talk about it, or to even like go out of your way just to exclaim to somebody who clearly doesn't care that you don't like a game, Like, you're not hurting my feelings. I don't care if you don't like a game. That's fine. Like, I do think it's interesting if when I like a game and people don't like it, and they give me reasons as to why. I find that fascinating. I genuinely like that conversation because it's interesting, and you know, it's back and forth. But like, I'm not trying to convince you to like something, and you're not going to convince me to not like something. So like, anyway. Point is, there's already enough people like that putting that, like, just they're putting like negativity on everything. I don't want to be that way, you know? Like, I was going to do this Monster Hunter video about Monster Hunter Wilds because I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. And I was like, I'm still playing the game. I'm still enjoying it. Like, and yes, I could put out like a critical analysis video, and I could be like, here's these things that I like, and here's these things that I don't like. But I feel like I really feel like the video is going to weigh more into the things I don't like, because there are right now, like, the things that I don't like in Monster Hunter Wilds are pretty like strong. I have strong opinions on, and I don't want to just complain about it and then record that complaint and put it on the internet. And that was it. That was my creative process. Like, that's, I don't know. I'm rambling. I don't know if you guys are following or making that sense, if that makes sense. But point is, a lot of these scripts I was writing, just they weren't up to snuff for what I wanted. So I was like, I'm gonna go back to the basics. Wrote a new script. I'll be shooting it this weekend. I say this weekend like you guys had any concept of time when I'm recording this. Let's find out when I'm recording this. It is Saturday, April 5th, 3:08 a.m. Yep. So anyway, I'll be recording a new Java on Castlevania 1, just Castlevania 1. The reason for that is, I mean, I plan on doing Castlevania 1 anyway, right? But like, I needed like I wanted something to just fall back on that was just a fun game that I enjoy, that I can talk about why I enjoy it. And I do talk about this a little bit in that video. I'm going to spoil a little something for you guys here. But like, I want to get my Javas back to like just being more like stories about like what the game means to me and stuff, and less like just here's this formulaic thing. You'll see what I mean when you watch the video. It's coming out hopefully soon after this. We'll see. I say that. We'll find out what happens. Point is, I do have a new Java coming out. That's the update for the channel. And then I have other scripts I am working on that aren't like that I think will be good. We'll find out. I don't know, man. That's all I got, you know, like, if you guys made it this far, that's incredible. I normally don't do this, but if you guys like this, I guess let me know if you want me to ramble about something. I could probably make like a cohesive, not like insanely long video of like off script about a certain topic if I knew what topic I was approaching. You know, like I could probably get through it and do it. Not saying I'm not like making promises, but like, I mean, if you guys want the real me, unscripted, then yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to do more of that, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. Let me know. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Was this whole thing a huge waste of time? You tell me. You're the one who watched it. You're still here, right? So that's my completely unscripted, unwarranted, unasked for channel update, I guess, that I threw into the end of a Nintendo Direct video for some reason. hopefully, you guys got something out of it. Point is, I love making videos for this channel. I do. I love making the videos that I make. I love uploading. I love talking with you guys in the comments. I love sharing the things I share. And I'm genuinely thankful that you guys come back and that you watch my channel. I'm thankful for the fact, I mean, there's people that, again, support me on Patreon. That blows my mind, that people are out there, they think that I'm worth throwing anything at, like, that's cool. So, huge thanks to people who support me on Patreon. If you didn't know I have a Patreon, guess what? I have a Patreon. But, like, I want to make more videos. I want to make them in a faster time span, but, like, I'm doing my best. It's just me. I was actually thinking about doing a video where I showed my whole process, because it's incredibly stupid the way I make these videos, the setup I have to do, everything. I thought maybe you guys would want to see that. It'd be like a semi studio, here's how I make a YouTube video. I don't know, something you want to see? If it is, maybe I'll make it. I don't know. We'll find out. I got a lot of ideas, but like, yeah, I just don't have time. That's the thing. It's like, so, like, a lot of ideas, not enough time. I'm trying to make the time to make videos. Doing my best. But yeah, so aren't we all? Hope you guys are doing your best too. Okay, I gotta stop. I gotta cut this off. So, okay, that's it. I hope to God this video is not over an hour long. Whew. Okay, anyway. Let me know what you thought about all the Nintendo Direct stuff. Let me know what you thought about the channel updates. I'll see you in a scripted video in the future. Bye.